7 red flags of the modern woman men shouldn't date. Do you want to date an amazing woman? Are you aware of the biggest red flags to keep an eye out for to make sure you stay the right path towards meeting a woman who will make you incredibly happy? Are you noticing behaviors in the woman you're talking to that are making you wonder if she's going to be a good partner to you? Well, then you're in the right place. I want to share 7 red flags in women that signal that she's not the type of high value woman that you want and deserve. And trust me, guys, I've seen it all. After working with over 5,000 men all over the world, I can confidently tell you what you need to be on the lookout for if you want to set yourself up for long-term success. So if that sounds good to you, I want to get started here, but before we do, if this is your first time visiting, I welcome you. My name is Apollonia Ponti. I'm a dating, relationship, and life coach for men. I've helped men master their attraction skills in their dating, relationship, and in their personal lives. I have testimonials and numerous results from clients that I'm really proud about. And if you're a first-time viewer, I want to welcome you to this channel. Take that time to click the subscribe button. And to all my subscribers, thank you for being a loyal subscriber to me. And also, I'd love to see you and comment below in this video so I can speak to you personally. All right, let's get into this first sign. The first sign is when she insults you in private and in public. Oof. I have often seen women belittling their partner both at home and in front of their friends and family. This goes vice versa. Let's say you're with a group of friends and one of the people is talking about a trip maybe he went on with his girlfriend recently and how great it was. And then the woman you're dating says something like, "Oh, that must be nice. Too bad my boyfriend is too cheap to take me on a trip like that." Okay, wow. Or she says something like, "Wow, hopefully one day my boyfriend will be able to afford something like that," because that's not the case today. Maybe she'll say these things with a laugh, but she'll actually be putting you down in front of people. And trust me when I tell you that a high value woman does not put her man down, especially in the face of other people. Yes, there is a room for fun and teasing, but when it comes to crude remarks and they're coming from a place of trying to make you understand that you're less than, or she's trying to make you feel small, then Houston, we have a problem. The second sign I want to share with you today is that she uses sex as a weapon or as a way to get what she wants from you. And I don't mean this in a playful way. Like if she's saying something like, "If you're good, maybe later we can have fun." That's a playful way. No, I mean like if you denied her something she wants, or she didn't like something you did, and then she withholds sex from you as punishment all the time. For example, say you said the pasta she cooked was a little too spicy and she gets mad and doesn't let you touch her for the rest of the night. This is a sign of immaturity, and in more severe cases, it can be a sign of manipulation. It can be very toxic. For example, if she tells you that she wants you to buy something for her, and then if you don't buy the thing, she starts to withhold sex from you until you do what she wants. And you notice when you give in more, she has more sex with you. Guys, this is completely different though from when you're not emotionally available, where you're not meeting a woman's needs in life, in a relationship, so she won't want to be intimate with you when you're not able to emotionally connect. This is not any of that. That's not what I mean here, okay? That's completely different of why a woman would withhold sex. This is more of like manipulation tactics that gets really toxic, and they get really toxic really fast, so keep an eye out for it. The third sign I want you to be on the lookout for is when she keeps bringing up her ex. In some cases, I've seen that women keep bringing up their ex because she still has feelings for him and is basically comparing her new guy to her ex. For example, she'll make comments like, "Oh, my ex used to take me really nice restaurants all the time," or "Oh, my ex was super hot. All the girls wanted him, but he only wanted me." Notice if she does stuff like this very often. Notice if she seems almost nostalgic when she talks to you about her ex. Now, I'm not saying that she shouldn't be able to mention her ex, but I want you to be aware of her tone and what she exactly says and does. I also mention this because some women can show their true colors by the way they talk about their ex, and so can men. So for example, if she is constantly trash talking them, airing his dirty laundry, and going on about how pathetic he is, then it can mean that she's actually not over him yet because she hasn't reached that level of neutrality yet. Or it's going to give you some insight into how she speaks about people once she is no longer on good terms with them. Now, yes, She has the right to have a negative impression of her ex. That's fine and normal, but there is a difference between rising above the situation and moving on with your life gracefully and holding on to bitterness and negativity. It also offers, I should say, some insight into how she would speak about you if you two had an argument or were to stop seeing each other. You want someone who can be mature, respectful if you want to build a healthy life together. The fourth sign is when she has a distorted view of what feminism is and adopts the I don't need a man and men are less powerful than me and all men are shit kind of mentality stance to the point where she's hateful towards men. I see this a lot in women that have had negative experiences with men and then want to punish all men as a result. Let me just stop here real quick. I remember I was looking at this TikTok reel and it was like an interview with like men and then women. And the man was just like talking about, when I choose my wife, and he was talking about like how he was, what type of wife he was looking for. And then in that vocabulary, he said, when I choose my wife, and a woman interrupted him and goes, so why do you get to choose? Like this, just kind of like so condescending and aggressive. And I was like, well, why wouldn't the man get to choose? See, we're so often wired, I think, in our society for women to say, yeah, when I choose my husband, and it doesn't like, a man just doesn't really pay attention to it. A woman doesn't really pay attention to it. But the moment a man says this, it's bad behavior, right? He's arrogant, he's cocky, but a man should be able to have the right to choose, right? And so this is where I say is like that unwanted side of the feminist act that I just don't agree with at all. And I've probably talked about this in this channel, if not this the first time maybe. But here's the thing is like, you have to understand the components of what a man and a woman bring to the relationship in order to have the neutrality of polarity and masculine and feminine energy, and for a woman to step into her feminine. But I also get the caveat to why women are like this, because a lot of women have been hurt, abused, and so much more. But so have men. So we can't just have a separation. We also need to come together and understand how both of these essence of a man and woman can bring into a relationship. And if not, that's why women can find themselves having trouble in relationships and still being single. So this is why it's really important for you men to understand this. And I know this is a big one in today's society. Sometimes, I'll be honest, women don't even realize what they're doing, but they'll wear this like singledom as a badge of honor and almost resent other women that choose to pursue relationships with men, right? They know they don't need a man to survive, of course, but their view on the subject becomes distorted because they resent it when a man tries to invite them to dinner or pay for something. They become defensive over accepting help, or they have hateful speech when talking about men in general, or when a man has standards in some type of area of his life, or when a man has a healthy expectation for her. The problem with this is that she's going to have a tendency of being extremely closed off to you, which will obviously make it very hard to progress together. So the fifth red flag in modern women is when she has no vision for self-improvement and has no emotional regulation. Guys, this is the same thing for men too. But what I mean by this is when a woman has no goals for herself, no ambition, no discipline, no standards, she doesn't seem to take care about where she's going, or she doesn't seem to care about where she's going in life, how healthy she is, or even what kind of life she wants to create for herself. So her ambitions can become addictions, or you for that matter, that becomes codependency. So many of the men I've coached have expressed that their relationships were struggling because the woman they dated had set very low standards for themselves, or they became like the captain save a girl, right? This feels kind of, I should say, messy, and in turn, it makes your relationship feel messy too. It's made it hard to create a fulfilling future together because the woman would just float around with zero investment towards a better future. And in order for partnership to happen, in place of expansion to happen, in order to expand as humans, we must admire our partner. We must embrace our partner. We must be rewarded by our partner. We must be feeling positive from our partner, whatever decisions we make on which avenue of life we want to go down. So a lot of times when I've seen men date women like this, they didn't take care of themselves physically and become very unhealthy. They didn't take care of their careers or their professional ambitions. They didn't take care of their living situations or their finances, and started more relying on the men to handle literally everything. So as you can imagine, there was no balance. There was no co-creation. There was no excitement, and there was no standards. It just became like a dead weight. So similarly, I have also coached men who've expressed frustrations over the fact that the woman that they're dealing with had no emotional regulation. In other words, the women were not emotionally mature and could not have calm, productive, and calm conversations about conflict. But here's the thing I want to just really for men to understand, because I coach men on this. So if you're in a relationship where you've never sticking to your word, you've made your woman feel uncomfortable, and then you say she has no emotional regulation, no, that's because she's stepping in too much in her masculine. That's not what I mean here. I mean off the bat, okay? So the result was excessive fighting maybe here, holding grudges, and even things I mentioned above, like withholding sex, or even like pushing you away and not communicating at all. These types of things made it incredibly hard to create and nurture a mature and fulfilling relationship. So it's crucial that you keep an eye out for it early on. So the sixth thing I want you to keep an eye out for is when she's like a policewoman keeping tabs on your social media, your friends, your colleagues, even the woman you speak to in a normal everyday circumstances, like the person ringing him up at the grocery store. If a woman is constantly demanding to know all details about any other woman you interact with, especially if you haven't given her reason to, or if she's clearly jealous or suspicious all the time, especially if you haven't given her a reason to, or worse, she's still trying to demand that you don't speak to other women, especially if you haven't given her a reason to trust you, it's a red flag. Now, if she has reasons to be uncomfortable with a relationship you have with a specific woman because maybe you have history or maybe the woman has tried to do something inappropriate, then that's a different story, okay? But if she's being a control freak about your life, you're looking at a red flag, my guy. And last but not least, we have sign number 7, which is when she's what I like to call a 6'6" girl, meaning that she only cares about 2 things: that you're over 6 feet and that you make over 6 figures. I've seen a lot of instances where a woman doesn't see the man behind the money or behind the looks, and she just wants a partner that makes her look good. That does not last long. As you can imagine, this doesn't really lay the groundwork for a meaningful long-term relationship. So keep an eye out for these things in the beginning stages so that you can steer clear of them. If there are more red flags that you've come across in your dating life, go ahead and share them in the comment section below so that we can help one another out, especially all my fellow guys that have subscribed to this channel. So to totally recap on what we're talking about, let's go over the 7 signs to be aware of. If she insults you in public and in private, if she uses sex as a weapon against you, if she keeps bringing up your ex, if she has a negative view on all men, if she has no vision of self-improvement and emotional regulation, if she is controlling and jealous, and if she only cares about looks and money. So there you have it, guys. If you're seeing these signs in the woman you're dating, it means that she might not even be emotionally mature enough to step into a relationship with you that is going to make you genuinely happy. And remember, that's okay, but it's also vice versa for you. And you know why? Because there are so many other women out there that could bring this to you if this is what you adapt in your life. And now that you have this information, you're going to have a much easier time recognizing red flags, probably from a mile away. Trust me, I get it. Very often these traits become obvious once you already invested in the relationship, and it feels harder to remove yourself from the situation. But if you're able to see them from a mile away, you don't have to worry about winding up in these situations. Because it's one of those things that can catch you off guard, right? You meet someone, you hit it off, and before you know it, you're invested in a relationship. That's why pacing is a root of attraction. It's all fun and exciting at first, but sometimes toxic sides can be like little ninjas sneaking up on you when you least expect it. You see, when you're initially getting to know someone, it's natural to focus on their positive qualities. We tend to wear our rose-tinted glasses and see only the good stuff. But as time goes on, you have to trust yourself to become more emotionally invested, right? So those glasses can also slip off when we become emotionally invested. So just be honest with yourself. Revealing some less desirable aspects in someone can be challenging to see. But challenge lies in recognizing these toxic signs and acknowledging that they're detrimental to your well-being and having enough confidence and self-worth to step aside and say no. It's not always easy to step away, especially when you're invested time, emotions, and maybe even future plannings. That's why I always say pacing is the root of attraction. Pace through it. There's natural reluctance to let go of something you've invested in, of course, but hoping that things will improve or go back the way they were in the beginning. But here's the thing. Prioritizing your happiness and mental health should always come first. Recognizing red flags and having the courage to address it is a crucial step towards making sure that you have a genuinely happy love life. So I hope today's video shed some light for you on that topic. And as always, I would encourage you to continue watching and staying with me here. I have this next video I made right over here for you is the signs that you're self-sabotaging the dating process. Go ahead and watch that. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. And remember, you are always loved. Bye for now.